welcome everyone to the Member of the Month interview. I'm Amanda Melby, Executive Director of IFP Phoenix, and I'm here this month with Abbott Miller. Welcome, Abbott.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
So we should tell everybody, first of all, what it is that you do in the film industry.
That would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
So I have my own company here in town in Phoenix called AMP Studios,
Okay.
and it's post-production audio. So I do sound design, mixing, sweetening, recently added a music partner as well, which we can chat about a little later.
Okay.
But we work on all kinds of projects from television and corporate radio to films and documentaries, which have been happening a lot more lately too, which is always nice.
Documentaries?
Yeah.
Or, oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is, bring the level as close to Hollywood standards as we can. I've made huge investments in having, the right equipment to be able to do a lot of these things. I have enough stuff that even some of the big Hollywood stages would be jealous of what what I've got now. But I've also established some connections with some mentors from my time in Hollywood.
Cool.
Where we can actually do all the film mixing and print all the stems and everything here, but we can, master it and do the print masters and all the finals at a place called the Dub Stage, which is owned by my friend Marty Humphrey, who's one of the top mixers in Hollywood, and he's offered to, give some discounted rates to finish these things off properly. It's the way every film really needs to be finished, but I don't think people realize that, or they don't take the time to understand.
And what made you, did you always have a love of music that brought you into this, or what was it that got you started down this career path?
I did. When I first started, I was heavily into music, and I was an ASU graduate and decided I actually wanted to pursue that at first. So I went out to Musicians Institute in Hollywood.
Okay.
And was studying guitar out there for a long time. But as luck would have it, I guess, I actually injured myself and had a tendon problem. Oh. And it forced me to stop playing for 6 months, which kind of forced me to think, okay, well, what do I want to really do if that's not going to work out?
Right.
So I ended up looking at recording schools out there while I was still there, and ended up attending Los Angeles Recording Workshop, which is an audio engineering school where they teach you music, but at the time they were just starting to teach you about the video side of things as well. Oh. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. This is kind of fun, and they would have us, put sound effects to old Clint Eastwood movies and this kind of thing. And I thought, this is actually pretty cool. I'm kind of enjoying it, so I wanted to pursue it further. And instead of getting internships at music studios, I said, okay, I think I might want to do this. So I started asking, well, what are the differences between going into music studios versus, the video side of things? And they said, basically, you'll be a runner for a long time getting coffee at music studios for no pay. Versus if you want to go into the TV field, you'll be a runner for a long time at those studios, but for a little less time, and you'll get paid a little quicker over there. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go that route.
Yeah, right.
But it turns out that, I really developed a love for that side of things. And so that's where I ended up doing my internships and starting out in Hollywood at a couple of studios there, including a big one called 4MC at the time, where I was able to work on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, doing some foreign language versions of that show.
Really?
Yeah.
For overseas?
With Robin Leach, yes. It was fun, but that's just kind of how I got my start.
That's funny.
It wasn't until later that I decided, actually, I really didn't enjoy living in Los Angeles that much.
Right.
And being an Arizona State, graduate, I thought, boy, I just can't wait for an opportunity to come back. And sure enough, an opportunity came up at a local post-production facility here at Great Scott Productions. And so when I called, I said, how soon can I start?
Yeah.
And
awesome.
so I ended up coming back, I think it was about 1999.
Okay.
and was working at Great Sky Productions for about, say, 4 or 5 years, somewhere in there, doing TV commercials and a lot of corporate pieces and radio, and just enjoying the whole process.
And then from there, launched out on your own?
And from there, I went freelance for a little while.
Okay.
And yeah, as a long story short, ended up eventually opening up my own place, located at First Studios building in downtown, just down the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Christmas party there is always a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I got a lot of stories, but that's for another interview.
That'll take another couple of days.
Yeah.
To get to. Yeah. And what are some of the films that you've worked on? I'm sure some of the other talent in town have been that we know that you've worked with. Yeah.
Well, there wasn't, when I first started, that many independent films that were really looking to get good quality production, or they just, budgets weren't there or what have you. But it really feels like over the last 5 years, the whole independent film community has grown by leaps and bounds. So I think it was whenever Nether Beast Incorporated came out, which, by the way, you had a part in, if I recall. The Ronalds Brothers Productions.
That was, I don't know, maybe 06 or 07?
06, I think it was, maybe 07, about a year after I had opened up or so. They brought that project to me, and that was my first real big independent, film, which went on to be, a nice little success for the Ronalds Brothers and Company. And that was a lot of fun, and that's when I thought, boy, this is something I want to look at doing some of these kind of projects more, because these are, challenging and creative and fun. And it's just a little different than my usual 30-second attention span, but it's just a lot more involved of a process. And I just found that I really enjoyed it. So I've done several other, independent films since then. Notably several from Holt Hamilton, Travis Hamilton, Holt Hamilton Productions. A lot of Native American based, independent films. Some documentaries, like I had mentioned. Recently we just did work on a movie called Dirty Little Trick, starring Dean Cain and Michael Madsen, and Christy Burson. And that was one that Bryan was the director on, and he brought that to me, Victory Angel Films. And we had
that's a feature or a short?
It is a feature.
A feature.
And speaking of shorts, yes, currently we are working on Extraction from Suncast Entertainment. With,
we had Katrina here a couple months ago.
And Rose and Marco Santiago. And that is almost finished.
Oh, good.
Right now we're putting the finishing touches on that. Hopefully, actually, in the next week or two, we'll be finished with that.
Awesome.
And it's great. It's great to see the quality of projects that are coming in, and the quality of the directors that are coming through. It seems like, in a sense, that we're all growing together. Because this is it's a growing industry right now. But I think that there's still a lot. There's room to grow, but I think there's still a lot of education that needs to happen as far as the whole process, how all these things really can be put together in a way that's comparable to, say, larger markets and bigger budget features. But
so, if there's one thing, or two things, or three things that you'd find that filmmakers mistakes they're making that would make it easier in your world.
Well, before I answer the question, this has nothing to do with anybody I've worked with. No, it's just in general. I just think that if everybody took a little more time, or had the luxury, I should say, to take more time into the pre-production planning, and educate themselves more about budgets that need to happen, so that things aren't. Well, people won't be surprised, let's say, with what it really costs to do things. So it seems like some of the directors that I've talked to, it seems like 90% of their budget gets blown in the production phase of things. And they realize, well, we have to still post things, and it's just, it's a process. But like I said, and then to do things the right way, and to do things in a way that's not gonna, you know, be unprofessional.
Right.
You know, we just, there's a certain amount of time, energy, and effort that has to go into making these things, you know,
and I think
professional quality.
and you've always been, you're somebody that people can call and talk to and find out what it would take to be able to raise their project to the next level, right?
Exactly.
And what's your website? Where can people find you?
Well, ampstudiosaz.com.
Okay.
And all my contact info is there. AMP Studios AZ, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I would encourage everybody to come either to visit your website
sure.
or to give you a call.
Absolutely.
And find out everything that you can offer, because I think you're doing a lot of great work, and I really appreciate you coming down here for the interview.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was great to see you.
You too.
All right, we'll see you next time on the Member of the Month interview.